And today, we will find out who that is. From Canberra, Australia, it's not koalas, but rather burly boys of a different sort. It's the super heavyweight weightlifters. Hi, I'm Doug Cooney. We at ESPN are pleased to bring you the 1988 World Super Heavyweight Weightlifting Championships from Canberra, Australia. In the sport of weightlifting, there are 10 weight classes, and this is the super heavyweights. To participate, you must weigh over 242.5 pounds in body weight and lift enormous amounts of weights. Now, this is the first meeting for the super heavyweights since the Seoul Olympics. In fact, one of the favorites will be the Olympic gold medalist from Seoul in the super heavyweight class, Alexander Kurlovich from the Soviet Union. He's a fierce competitor. Not only is he strong, but he's able to dominate the competition with tremendous psychology. His ability to psych out his opponents right from the start reminds me of the great Vasily Alexiev. Remember him? Expected to push Kurlovich is another Soviet, Leonid Taranenko, the 1980 Olympic gold medalist in the heavyweight class. That's 242.5 pounds. Taranenko has put on an enormous amount of body weight. In fact, he weighed in here 325 pounds in body weight. Now, Taranenko went to the Seoul Olympics, and a last-minute illness forced him to withdraw from the competition. Taranenko was devastated. Since then, he's been training with a vengeance and has come to Canberra and is expected to not only dominate, push Kurlovich, but perhaps set world records. In fact, Taranenko holds the world record in the clean and jerk, an amazing 585.25 pounds. Another name that stands out on the entry list is Yuri Zacharevic. You know, it was 8 years ago at the 1980 Junior World Championships in Montreal that we first saw Yuri in international competition. Then, in the 90-kilo weight class, ESPN was there. Let's take a look.
Good lift for him, put the Russian in the commanding lead over the Bulgarian. Of course, this is not the overall, this is the snatch. 369 pounds in the bar. Getting close to 200 pounds over body weight here, Ron.
From the Soviet Union, Yuri Zacharevic. He has a minute to lift. He'll take about 3 seconds probably of that.
Concentrating, getting the right mood at this point.
Getting the fingers down right. Watch him flex that right hand. See, his right hand does seem to be further out.
And he gets set. He makes a nice lift. Again, his arm lock is unique to his own physiology. It looks a little bit different, but it is locked out. And that's permissible in weightlifting.
So Zacharevic, who's now a full-fledged super heavyweight at a body weight of 244 pounds, is at a distinct disadvantage in the super heavyweight class. But Yuri has no fear, and he's actually going to be pushing the big guys. Remember, Zacharevic won the Olympic gold in Seoul in the 242-pound class, so he's not afraid of competition. Clearly, as the big boys belly up to the bar, some heavy weights are about to be lifted. Stay with us as we see who becomes the strongest man in the world. In a beautiful region in Australia, Canberra to be precise, World Super Heavyweight competition coming your way in the sport of weightlifting. Yuri Zacharevic, the ever-popular weightlifter in the heavyweight division, put on 2 pounds of body weight to go up against the super heavyweights. Now, just moments ago, Zacharevic, successful with this lift, 374.75 pounds. Watch how fast he is. This was his first attempt. He got one in the competition before he goes after the bigger weights to push the super heavyweights. Now Zacharevic out for his second attempt on the bar, 385.75 pounds. The goal in the snatch lift is to get the bar from the floor to overhead directly in one continuous motion. Takes tremendous flexibility and timing. Was the 5-time European champion. No. A surprise. As Zacharevic really needed that. He has a third attempt remaining. And weightlifting competition is contested in the international metric system. That's kilograms. As you saw there, 1 kilogram equals 2.2046 pounds. Now, watch Zacharevic's attempt here. 385.75 pounds was high enough, but it was in front. Didn't have the best technique. Zacharevic backstage now contemplating what he needs. Meanwhile, competition moves along. Third and final attempt for Michael Schubert from East Germany, 385.75 pounds. Was successful with 170 kilos, 374.75 pounds on his second attempt. The 1-minute buzzer keeps pace of these weightlifting competitions. Schubert, just 20 years of age, is amazing in his abilities. He's come up very fast. Ooh. by the narrowest of margins, and error in technique cost him that weight as well. That's his third and final attempt in the snatch lift. We'll see Schubert later in the clean and jerk. Watch here as Schubert pulls 385 3/4 pounds. You see the bars in front. When you're lifting that much weight, it has to be precisely in the groove. And Schubert knows that pushes him down in the standings. In weightlifting, it's your best lift in the snatch combined with your best lift in the clean and jerk that determines the total, and that puts you in the overall standings. Meanwhile, Zacharevic back out for his third and final attempt, 385 3/4 pounds. Zacharevic weighed in at 244 pounds. He needs this to stay up with the big guys. Zacharevic not having the best of times here. A big surprise. He told me at the World Championships last year that he wanted to go up and participate against the big guys, and you can see the difference right here. Leonid Taranenko weighing 325 pounds almost dwarfs the lighter Zacharevic, doesn't he? Well, attention now turning to the Olympic gold medalist in the super heavyweight class, Alexander Kurlovich. Kurlovich weighed in at 284 pounds of body weight. He's requested on his first attempt 180 kilos, converts to 396 3/4 pounds. 6 feet 1 inches tall. He's an exciting performer. Coach Medvedev, the head Soviet coach, quite busy today with his 3 Soviet charges in the super heavyweight class. Again, you heard the 1-minute buzzer. If you follow another lifter, you're allowed 2 minutes. If you follow yourself, you're allowed 3 minutes. Very deliberate in his approach. Kurlovich should make this quite easily. Notice the wide hand spacing in the snatch. That's to allow for the rotation of the shoulders. And yes, Kurlovich pulls 396 3/4 pounds directly overhead. That's exactly what you want to do. You see the 3 white lights. In weightlifting, there are 3 referees. 2 of the 3 must approve the lift. Referees looking for continuous motion. You can't unlock your arms once the weight is overhead. And you must lift it on the platform. Take another look. Watch Kurlovich, how he keeps the bar close to the body, pulls directly underneath himself. Very quick, flexible. That's almost 400 pounds. Ho-ho! And his teammate, Taranenko, has yet to begin. Tremendous battle we have coming up here. Kurlovich preparing for his next attempt. He's requested 185 kilos, 407 3/4 pounds. You see the chalk in his hand. That's magnesium carbonate. That's what he's putting on right now. That helps him secure a better grip. Prevents the moisture from getting between the hand and the bar. Ooh. His older brother introduced him to weightlifting some years ago. Said he likes to train by swimming as well as weightlifting, but right now, all his concentration's on this. 407 3/4 pounds. We've broken the 400-pound mark, and Kurlovich lifts it quite easily. A superb effort. And again, the referees say the lift is good. And right here, the coach, Coach Medvedev, is giving him some advice. What do you want for your third attempt? Watch how quick Kurlovich is. He impresses me with his technique. He really has the best technique of the super heavyweights here. At least those we've seen thus far. Right here. See how he gets directly underneath it? Doesn't waste any energy whatsoever. A slight step forward, permissible. Lift is good. Now watch his heels. He actually pulls the bar up, jumps underneath the weight, jumping off the platform. That's how athletic he is. Remember, Kurlovich weighs 284 pounds. Fast for a super heavyweight, isn't he? Now at this point, backstage, Taranenko's warming up. He's the other Soviet. He's waiting for Kurlovich to take his third attempt. That's fantastic psychology, because if you can wait until everyone is finished, in effect you're saying, I can win it on my opening attempt. So Kurlovich coming out for his third and final attempt in the snatch on the bar, 190 kilos, converts to 418 3/4 pounds. Kurlovich really back to back. This puts a lot of pressure on you when you follow yourself. Incidentally, Kurlovich lives in Grodno, Soviet Union. That's a city near the Polish border. Grodno, also the home of a pretty famous Olympian, Olga Korbut. Kurlovich's wife's name is Olga, coincidentally. But the competition really heating up here. 418 3/4 pounds in the bar. Can the Olympic champion do it? Let's watch. Oh, yes. That was really the easiest of his 3 attempts. Kurlovich lifting directly overhead in one continuous motion. 418 3/4 pounds. The lift is good. That's exactly what you want to do. But he looks concerned. His teammate, Taranenko, hasn't even begun yet. And in effect, it's your best lift in the snatch. So Kurlovich will be credited with this weight, 418 3/4 pounds. Well, next up will be Taranenko. How much weight will he start with? We'll find out. We're backstage looking at Leonid Taranenko at the World Super Heavyweight Weightlifting Championships. Hello, I'm Doug Coney. If you're just joining us, you're looking at 325-pound Soviet weightlifter Leonid Taranenko, who's come to Canberra, Australia on a mission. On the bar, 195 kilograms, 429 3/4 pounds. The mission is that Taranenko went to the Olympics and had to withdraw due to illness. This, in effect, is his own Olympics. If successful, he'll win the first half of competition right here. Oh, 429 3/4 pounds for Taranenko. Unbelievably easy as the Soviet coach Medvedev looks on. Even he's somewhat surprised at that ease. Taranenko, very strong performer, won the Olympics in the heavyweight division. Back in 1980s, put on a tremendous amount of body weight. Watch how fast he moves for someone that weighs so much. Ooh. Now, Taranenko will be following himself. Be given 3 minutes between attempts. At this point, he's collecting himself, literally catching his breath. You can see in the back of the leg a scar. About 3 years ago, Taranenko had major surgery on that for a tendon. It's giving him problems. And here, taking another look at his opener, 429 3/4 pounds. That's confidence. When the rest of the competition has finished and you come out and deign to appear, that technique often used by the great Alexiev. We're seeing now Taranenko's second attempt. This is unbelievable. 205 kilograms converts to 451 3/4 pounds. The current world record in the snatch lift, by the way, held by Bulgarian Antonio Krastev, 216 kilos. So we're not too far away from that world record. If successful, this will give Taranenko a 33-pound lead over his next competitor. That, of course, Kurlovich that we saw just moments ago. Look at his eyes, the intensity. Taranenko psyching up. Here he goes. 451 3/4 pounds on his second attempt. Leonid Taranenko blasts that weight overhead. Fantastic effort. The lift is good. All 3 referees indicating that it will count. That but his second attempt. Remember, you're allowed 3 attempts in each event of the snatch, later on the clean and jerk, and here, 451 3/4 pounds. Not even his limit. Taranenko definitely looks good for more. The Soviet super heavyweight, one of 3 in this competition, has a tremendous lead. Watch here, 451 3/4 pounds. Taranenko very strong, and his technique is most efficient. Really, the snatch lift is gymnastics with weights. It's not just strength, but technique, timing, and confidence. Taranenko, speaking of confidence, is going for a personal best. 210 kilos, 462 3/4 pounds, requested for his 3rd and final attempt, the snatch lift. This is just 6 kilos. That's about 13 pounds shy of the world record. Back here, psyching up, Taranenko's thinking about what he wants to do. How do I pull? How do I hit my position? He's in a world of his own. Even the Soviet coach is leaving him alone. Well-trained athlete as he is, Taranenko prepares for the challenge of a lifetime. Stay with us. And we're back for a World Super Heavyweight weightlifting competition from Canberra, Australia. Talk about personal best. How would you like this challenge? Leonid Taranenko's requested a personal best. On the bar, 462 3/4 pounds. He's never lifted this much weight before in this snatch lift. Again, this is just about 13 pounds shy of the world record. Taranenko dominating the Super Heavyweight Invitational here. It'll take everything that he has to make this weight. His first 2 attempts, most impressive. Let's watch. Ooh. The coach. Here he goes. And Taranenko blasts up 462 3/4 pounds. That's a personal best for the Soviet. And more importantly, sets him up for the overall. Now, Taranenko, believe it or not, is actually better in the clean and jerk than the snatch. And that lift, if he combines it with his best in the clean and jerk, he could have a world record in the total. Now watch, 462 3/4 pounds. He actually jumps off the platform. That's what it's all about. When you can lift 462 3/4 pounds and jump off the platform, that's something you go back to the gym and brag about. Look at this. 462 3/4 pounds. The technique, most impressive. His timing, his position, everything is there. Believe it or not, it's just not strength, but everything else comes together for Leonid Taranenko. A beautiful effort. And the Soviet coach, Alexei Medvedev, claps in approval. Backstage, Taranenko, a little winded by that. When you're lifting this much weight, it takes everything out of you, and the Soviet gives us a slight grin of approval as he contemplates, what will I go for in the clean and jerk, where again, that's his better lift. Backstage, you see all the Soviets, Kurlovich, Zacharevic, and Taranenko. Coach Medvedev there. Coach Medvedev, by the way, the head Soviet coach, was world champion in 1957. On the Soviet Union, where there's 400,000 registered weightlifters, weightlifting is big business, with like being a professional baseball player in this country. The USA, we have about 2,000 registered weightlifters. So the Soviets have a proud tradition. If you become a world champion, it's almost your passport to a career in sport, namely coaching. That, of course, encourages other lifters. The tradition is very rich in the land of the Soviet Union, where weightlifters are very popular. And there are the results in the snatch competition. In this sport, when 2 or more weightlifters lift the same amount of weight, lighter body weight prevails. In this case, Hudacek from Czechoslovakia was the heaviest weightlifter to lift 374 3/4 pounds. Hudacek, by the way, took 3 attempts to make that weight. This was his first. 23-year-old Czech placed 5th at the 1988 Olympics at a body weight of 283.5 pounds. He pulls 374 3/4 pounds, but just not there. That was his first attempt. Notice the wider hand spacing now. Second attempt for Hudacek. And again, this gave him problems. He didn't hit his position. Almost, but he relaxed. And his back was against the wall. He needed this to stay in the overall competition. 374 3/4 pounds remains on the bar. If he missed it, he would have bombed out. Wouldn't have totaled at all. But here, Hudacek from Czechoslovakia came through when it counted. Successful with that lift. He stays in the running for the overall, and that's what counts. The technique here, Hudacek makes a better adjustment. A slight quiver at the top, but he held on. Hudacek comes through when it counted. And backstage, Hudacek getting some advice from the East German coach. Interesting. And Taranenko, what thoughts must be going through his mind as he prepares for the clean and jerk. And next up, we'll show you what 462 3/4 pounds really is. And we're about to enter the second phase of the World Super Heavyweight Weightlifting Championships. The clean and jerk is the event. More weight will be lifted than in the snatch. And as they set the barbell, let's take a moment and reflect on what that 462 3/4 pounds that Taranenko lifted in the snatch really equals. Well, here's a rather common appliance, a refrigerator, which weighs about 240 pounds each. So if you put two refrigerators together, that's how much Taranenko lifted in the snatch. Ooh, try moving one of those. The current world record in the clean and jerk, 585 1/4 pounds. That would be the equivalent of lifting 7 of these smaller television sets, each weighing about 80 pounds. The best lift in the snatch combined with the best lift in the clean and jerk determines the total. And the total is what literally determines the overall placement in the sport of weightlifting. The current world record in the super heavyweight division for the total, an amazing 1,041 1/2 pounds. How heavy is that? Well, you'd have to lift these 3 televisions behind me to exceed that world record. Almost unbelievable, isn't it? Now, taking another look at Alexander Kurlovich in the snatch lift, his technique is superb. And though he didn't lift the most amount of weight, it's a tremendous amount of weight, equivalent to 2 refrigerators. Wow. And the clean and jerk coming up is a 2-stage motion. First the clean. Getting set, the weightlifter will then drive the weight directly overhead, splitting the legs. More weight is lifted, and this would be equal to 7 small television sets. Whew. Now we're out in the competition with Yuri Zacharevic. He's the first Soviet out. 212 1/2 kilos, 468 1/4 pounds. This would move him into the lead. Thus far, he was 4th to the snatch competition, so he needs to make up some ground. And here, Zacharevic holds on. Now, Zacharevic actually dislocated his left elbow back in a world competition, 1983. That elbow bothers him psychologically, but he's so powerful, he overpowers the bar. In fact, as you watch here, he cleans the weight up to the shoulders using back and leg strength. Again, the clean and jerk is a 2-stage motion. Now watch his left elbow. He flexes it slightly. You see it drifting, but he held on. Yuri made that one on strength alone. That gives him a combined effort thus far of 843 1/4 pounds. And that's what you want. The overall determines the placement. Coach Medvedev of the Soviet Union surveying the scene. Heavier weights coming up. Welcome back to Canberra, Australia. It's World Super Heavyweight Weightlifting competition already underway. Hello, I'm Doug Coney, and you're looking at Peter Hudacek. 23-year-old Czechoslovakian super heavyweight was 5th after the snatch. We're now in the clean and jerk competition. Remember, it's your best lift in the snatch combined with your best lift in the clean and jerk that will give you the overall. That's the total. This is Hudacek's second attempt. 473 3/4 pounds in the bar. Hudacek's favorite food, by the way, omelets. Said he has to eat them to keep his body weight up. And here the clean involves strong legs and back in particular. Hudacek punching that weight overhead, lifting quite easily. 473 3/4 pounds. Gives him a combined effort of 848 3/4 pounds. This moves him ahead of Zacharevic of the Soviet Union. That's a surprise. See, they're closer hand spacing in the clean and jerk than in the snatch. Here, much back and leg strength, as we said. Keep the elbows up, because the bar has to remain on the shoulders. 473 3/4 pounds. Now, you saw a shuffle of the feet. That's not good, a waste of energy. Meanwhile, back in competition, Michael Schubert from East Germany, 20 years of age, has burst on the international scene, placed 4th at the 1988 Olympics. He also taking 473 3/4 pounds. If successful, he totals the same as Hudacek, but moves ahead based on lighter body weight. There, the East German coach watching. 1-minute buzzer. Keeps pace with these weightlifting competitions. Hudacek could be moved down a spot. This is Schubert from East Germany having difficulty in the clean. See if he can get up the rest of the way. And that moves Schubert ahead of both Zacharevic and Hudacek. That was his 3rd and final attempt.
The 20-year-old East German quite happy. He's keeping up with the big guys. His body weight, 243 pounds. He's 1 pound lighter than Zacharevic, and that's an advantage in this sport. Technique a little rough. You see, he had to rock back in his heels. That's why the clean took so much energy. He's stepping forward, wasting energy. But his explosiveness and determination made up for it. 473 3/4 pounds for 20-year-old Michael Schubert. Boy, he's really impressed all of us. And our next lifter from Greece will be Pavlos Saltasidis. Weighed in 262 pounds today. And while he was 8th after the snatch, he's lifting more for pride. He's requested 473 3/4 pounds. If successful, this will be a new Greek national record. Notice in weightlifting, weight is only added progressively to the bar, never lowered. It's like an auction. In strategy, you must come in at a weight that you can make. Saltasidis sure hopes he can make this national record. Let's watch. Good clean. No one in Greece has ever lifted this much weight overhead in the super heavyweight class. Can he hang on? Yes, he does. Saltasidis sets a new Greek national record. Is he happy? You bet. And by a ruling of 2-1, the referees say the lift will count in competition. All 262 happy pounds going backstage. Saltasidis, you'd think he'd broken a world record. Shaking hands. This sport is a terrific effort. When you do it for yourself and your coach and your teammates, only you can make this kind of weight. 473 3/4 pounds. Pavlos Saltasidis. Boy, he pulled that weight very high, didn't he? Right here, getting set. Looking determined. Saltasidis gets ready to punch that weight overhead. He may not place in the top 3, but you couldn't tell by his reaction. Grits his teeth and hangs on in a jump for joy. Boy, the celebration continues backstage for Saltasidis, doesn't it? Well, a little more serious demeanor for Yuri Zacharevic coming out for his second attempt. He finds himself behind some other lifters he wouldn't expect, nor will he allow. 25-year-old Soviet superstar has a charismatic ability to encourage gravity to take a vacation. Let's see if that charm will work. 479.5 pounds. An easier clean for Zacharevic. See the left elbow again. Maybe he's thinking about that elbow injury. Here he goes. Zacharevic punching 479.5 pounds directly overhead. He moves back into the lead. Gives him a combined effort of 854.25 pounds. Now watch Zacharevic. He's very fast at a body weight of 244 pounds. Tremendous effort. This weight, almost twice body weight. The left elbow that he dislocated back in '83. But this weight, no problem for Yuri Zacharevic. Now remember, Kurlovich and Taranenko from the Soviet Union haven't even started, and we're close to 500 pounds. Next lifter up in the clean and jerk, Peter Hudacek from Czechoslovakia, 217.5 kilos. But no, we're now getting change here. Next lifter will be Alexander Kurlovich, the Olympic gold medalist from the Soviet Union, requesting 220 kilos. And backstage, you see Yuri Zacharevic thinking, how do I get rid of Hudacek, literally. Hudacek passed because he knows he needs a heavier weight to push Zacharevic. So the mind games continue in the sport of weightlifting. Kurlovich, again, putting chalk in the hands, helps absorb the moisture. When you're lifting this much weight, you need everything going for you, and a belt around the midsection. Helps keep the back warm, and quite frankly, the confidence level up. Kurlovich needs this and more to push Taranenko. No question. Ooh, 485 pounds. Quite easy in the clean. Kurlovich puts the weight overhead, no problem. But he'll need that and a lot more to scare Taranenko. Looks rather calm lifting that much weight. That gave him a combined effort thus far, 410 kilos, 903 3/4 pounds. That was his first attempt in the clean and jerk. He has 2 attempts remaining. And here you see Kurlovich exhibiting very strong technique. Keeps the bar close to the body, very efficient use. Obviously he's strong, but the proper technique allows you to lift more. And that's the difference in weightlifting. It's not like track and field where you're allowed 3 attempts at each height, say in the high bar. In weightlifting, it's 3 attempts total in each event. So strategy, critical. And that's precisely what Hudacek has calculated. If successful with this weight of 220 kilos, 485 pounds, Hudacek would move into second place ahead of Zacharevic. Kurlovich currently has the lead. This would equal his personal best in the clean and jerk. Here goes Hudacek. Pushing Zacharevic. Can he make it? No. At the last moment, he has to let it go. The weight just too much for Peter Hudacek. And here, taking another look at 485 pounds. Technique, quite good in the clean. Proper position. Hudacek runs into the problem right at the top. See? Right here. The weight just doesn't get high enough. He's not strong enough for it. And Zacharevic looking relieved. He fended off the charge of the Czechoslovakian. Zacharevic looks very strong in the clean today. It's the overhead portion that's giving him a problem. Zacharevic looking determined. If that elbow's giving him problems today. Whoa! Can Yuri hold on? No, he has to let it go. At the last possible moment, not looking too upset about it, does he? The lift will not count. Zacharevic having fun, so the holder of 36 world records not able to add to that tally today. Still the personable, likable fellow that he is, rather unfazed by it. 485 pounds in the bar for 244-pound Yuri Zacharevic. Right here, Zacharevic pushes the weight up okay, but it gets out of position. And after that elbow injury, he told me, I'm never going to have it happen again. When in doubt, he lets it go. There'll be another day, he said. And Kurlovich, backstage, preparing for his next attempt. Ooh, look at the sweat that Kurlovich is literally building up here. No wonder he's requested 230 kilos, 507 pounds. We've broken the 500-pound barrier. Exciting weightlifting competition coming to you from Canberra, Australia. The best in the world have assembled here to see who has the bragging rights for world's strongest man. Especially important for this man, the Olympic champion, the super heavyweight division. His teammate, Taranenko, has yet to begin, however. Now, Kurlovich holds the world record in the total, exhibiting tremendous confidence, especially his leg strength. Watch the bar bend. Right here. Kurlovich, wow. When you get over 500 pounds, that barbell begins to bend. Can he make it? Yes, Alexander Kurlovich lifting successfully 507 pounds in the clean and jerk. That assures him of second place today. The lift counts. Thus far, he has a combined effort of 925 3/4 pounds. Again, watch the bar bend right here. He cleans the weight. What a tremendous competitor this fellow is. Kurlovich has always impressed me with his confidence, showing no fear of the bar whatsoever. And again, keeping the bar close to the body, jumps back slightly. Kurlovich lifting well within himself today. This is his second attempt. Proper position throughout. No real struggle in the clean at all. And the weight goes directly overhead. The Olympic champion looking quite good, but can he hold off the charge of this man, 325-pound Leonid Taranenko, who didn't get his chance at the Seoul Olympics due to a last-minute illness. Kurlovich requesting 232.5 kilos for his final attempt in the clean and jerk. So he will lift before Taranenko even begins. So Taranenko is deigned to say, I will start when everyone else is finished. Taranenko was deeply bothered by the fact he had to withdraw in Seoul. But this is a surprise. Kurlovich taking down the straps of that weightlifting suit. Clock ticking down. We'll see who's next. We think Kurlovich. The drama backstage in the sport is fabulous. If you've ever been backstage in weightlifting, this is really where the action is. Still waiting for Kurlovich. Clock has been stopped. See in the upper left-hand corner? No. We get word now that Kurlovich is passing on his third attempt. It may have even been a tactic of the Soviet coach to give Taranenko more time to prepare because Kurlovich is passing on his third attempt. In effect, he's saying, I have no chance of beating my teammate. I'm finished for the day. Look. Flexing his wrist. An injury, perhaps? Difficult to tell, quite frankly. But while Kurlovich discusses what happened, his teammate prepares for the battle of a lifetime, the battle with the bar. And the ominous-looking barbell has been set. 245 kilograms requested by this man, Leonid Taranenko. 540 pounds in the bar. You've just joined us. We're at the World Super Heavyweight Weightlifting Championships in Canberra, Australia. All the competitors have finished except for this man, Leonid Taranenko, the 1980 Olympic gold medalist in the heavyweight division, has put on 83 pounds of body weight since that Olympics. And since he missed his opportunity at Seoul due to a last-minute illness, this, in effect, is his Olympics. He's starting after everyone else is finished. 540 pounds. Wow. Look at the determination on his face. Taranenko, whew, lifting 540 pounds directly overhead. And that doesn't appear to be his limit. That was his first attempt. By the way, this would give him a combined effort of 1,003 pounds and assures him of victory on his first attempt. Whoa. Watch, 540 pounds for Taranenko. Pulled it very high, higher than he had to. He's strong. His technique is good. His timing is a little off, though. See how he had to take a step forward? But he overpowers the bar, literally. 540 pounds for Leonid Taranenko. No problem whatsoever. Watch here. Again, the bar begin to bend. Whoa. Very easy clean. And a slight step forward. See him adjusting right here. The big Soviet has captured everyone's respect. Remember, Taranenko missed out on his opportunity in Seoul, but he's not to be denied today. Superb effort. 540 pounds. And you can see the barbell being adjusted here. Now let's take a look at that lift of Kurlovich's second attempt. Was he injured, or was he just helping his teammate gather some time for his big lift? At this point, Kurlovich looks okay. No problem that I can see. I'd have to guess that it was a tactic engineered by Medvedev, the Soviet coach, to give this man more time to prepare. Oftentimes in weightlifting, you can help somebody in terms of the timing of your warm-ups as to when you actually appear in competition. Meanwhile, Leonid Taranenko ponders an enormous amount of weight that he's going to be taking for his next attempt. We're still waiting for confirmation of what that is. You see the scar on the left leg. About 3 years ago, he had major surgery, correct a tendon problem. It's a miracle that Taranenko is still lifting, the doctors say. But his heart and spirit, not to be denied. And we have confirmation. Taranenko's requested a world record, 266 kilos, 586.25 pounds. And all this possible because of this man, Paul Koffa, the competition director, responsible for bringing the best weightlifters in the world together in the Super Heavyweight World Championships from Canberra. Backstage, what thoughts go through this man's mind as he prepares to attempt to lift more weight overhead than any other human ever. Regardless of body weight, Taranenko holds the current world record. He did at the World Championships last year. If successful, he would break the world record by about 1¼ pounds, to be exact. The motivation critical to Taranenko's potential success here. This lift, if good, combined with his best lift in the snatch, will also set up a world record in the total. Wow, a combined effort of 1,047 pounds. So in effect, in one lift, he sets up 2 world records. Psyching up, gathering the strength within that's going to be necessary to lift this phenomenal amount of weight. Ooh. Here he goes. Taranenko pulls 586¼ pounds. Looking determined. If he makes it, Taranenko set weightlifting history in Canberra. 586¼ pounds directly overhead. The lift is good. Coach Medvedev obviously pleased with Taranenko's performance, setting 2 world records. Fantastic. No human has ever lifted that much weight overhead, ever. Unbelievable. 586¼ pounds. And he has a 3rd attempt remaining in the clean and jerk. We'll see what that weight is. Taranenko could set up another world record in the clean and jerk and another record in the total. Has 2 world records thus far, and he's not finished. 325-pound Soviet came to Canberra with a mission. There's no question that missing out in the Olympics has motivated Taranenko to new heights. You can hear the murmur from the crowd as Taranenko backstage catches his breath, literally. Looks rather exhausted, doesn't he? All right, it was a struggle, but let's take a look at the clean. Right here, a world record, 586¼ pounds, pulled it very high. Shifted in the bottom position, very strong. Now right here, the weight's on his fingertips. That's not good. See him stepping forward, he's wasting energy. But Taranenko, powerful individual that he is, muscles it back into position. And see the barbell bending. That's good. That allows the weightlifter to shift position and not lose the weight. See? Taranenko, ever so powerful. Right here, see how high he pulled the weight? He's good for more. Now the jerk section, right here, as he gets set, gave him some problems. But Taranenko held on for a superb effort. Looking determined, he did make weightlifting history here in Canberra. Tremendous effort. Boy, Taranenko looks beast. Will he take a 3rd attempt? He's requested 270 kilos. That would break the world record, the clean and jerk, by 4 kilos. That's about 8½ pounds. We're talking at about 595 pounds. And as well, he would set up a new world record in the total, which he just broke moments ago. Gee, he's having difficulty catching his breath. Who wouldn't after lifting 585¼ pounds? And there, Kurlovich's teammate said he's finished for the day. That's enough. Superb outing for Taranenko and his revenge. And welcome back to World Weightlifting Championships in the Super Heavyweight Division from Canberra, Australia. I'm Doug Cooney. Boy, the competition doesn't get any better than this. Now, backstage, the Soviet teammates conferring about what happened today. Almost like comparing notes after the 18th hole, wouldn't you say? Well, perhaps the clubs are a little heavier here. Taranenko's teammates kidding him about stepping forward with that world record. 586¼ pounds. But they're very supportive of their teammate who set weightlifting history here at Canberra, lifting more weight overhead than any other human ever. What advice do you think they're giving him? What do you say to the world's strongest man? And there are the results after the snatch competition. Taranenko taking a commanding lead halfway through. Now you see three lifters lifted the same amount of weight, but lighter body weight prevailed. And with the final results, Taranenko had set up 2 world records, including the total of 1,047 pounds. Taking another look at that historic lift, 586.25 pounds. Leonid Taranenko of the Soviet Union lifting an enormous amount of weight. Look at the bar bend. Looking determined, Taranenko made it on strength and desire. And Darryl Eastlake, my colleague from Australian TV, is with the champion, Leonid Taranenko. Darryl?
Well, thank you, Doug. The man that really has electrified the Australians here today, Leonid Taranenko, with a fantastic lift that, of course, got those 2 world records. Tell me, through an interpreter now, the lift, it was such a courageous lift. He really had to fight his way to get that record.
Он спрашивает, 266 было трудно. Мировые рекорды ты можешь на грани человеческих возможностей. Это шаг в неизвестность. Мировой рекорд — это шаг в неизвестность. Это всегда трудно.
He said he's never done it before, and that before the competition he wanted to try it. While he was doing it, it was very difficult. He didn't think it was going to be that difficult.
One final question. There has been a rumour running around the room this afternoon that Leonid may retire after this.
Ты закончил сейчас, или ты хочешь подняться в следующий год?
Нет, я пока заканчивать не собираюсь, прощаться со спортом. И думаю, в следующем году где-то результат будет более 480.
He says he wants to continue lifting until he wants to create more world records, and next year he wants to try to lift the 270 that he couldn't attempt today.
Congratulations once again, and it's been great to have you in Australia. Well, there it is, Doug, amazing man, and the good news is he's going to be lifting in a lot more years to come, and that's the best news we've had here this afternoon. We hope you've enjoyed our coverage of this World Championship from Down Under.
That's the story from Canberra, Australia. The 1988 World Super Heavyweight Championship was produced by Grand Prix Productions. From the